Hi, I'm Garrett Cook.
And I'm Danielle. I got saved when I was 4 or 5 years old, and I grew up in a Christian home. And when I was in my younger teens, I went through a rough patch. Just struggled a lot with self-esteem and what I was worth, and a lot of issues with self-hatred. And so probably when I was 16 years old is when I got saved for real. And I just began a process of finding out who I was and who God called me to be and my purpose on the earth. And I've really just grown since that point, and I'm just trying to fulfill my call, fulfill what God has for me.
I got saved about the same time, around when I was 5, and once again grew up in a Christian home, and my dad eventually became a pastor, so I had all the fun times of being a pastor's kid, and it sure shows you a lot about I guess the inner church and what goes on, and it really makes you think on, you know, why you're saved and what really brings you to love the Lord and follow after Him. And I really just had to find Christianity for myself and not live it under what my parents have laid out, but really find out and search for myself who God was and what He could do in me and with me. And when I actually did that, I found out the stuff that I could contribute to the church and not just be a pew sitter, but really influence others and focus on the end goal, and that's bringing people to the kingdom. And so it's probably when I was about 17 when I really realized that I have to get serious about what I want to do and where I want to go in life with God, and also just with the people around me. And at the age of 17, I also met Danielle, and that's when we started dating.
Yeah, we met at the church, and so our whole dating, married life has been at the church. It's been just being involved, and Garrett and I went through the internship program at our church. We dated for 3.5 years before we got married, and we've been married now for 4 years almost. And we have 2 really great kids. We have a beautiful little girl named Davida, and she is 7 weeks, and she's just amazing. Our son Aiden is 2.5. We found out that we were pregnant with him shortly after getting married, which was a surprise, but a good one. It's actually just been an amazing thing having him, and the whole process of finding out that we were pregnant shortly after getting married. We really learned to rely on God and to build like so many valuable relationships in the church. And
yeah, I think that's where the local church really came in handy for us, is just having a body of people to actually rely on and know that we can trust. And when you get a surprise like having a kid early into your marriage, you really realize how much you have to rely on God, and oftentimes you end up going through life thinking that you can do it on your own, and we realized very quickly that it can't be done, and we needed God's direction and His wisdom to completely consume our lives, because without Him we would have been so lost. And we went through some tough times, financially and stuff like that, but He brought me to Matthew 6 verse 25. It says, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more important than food, and the body more important than the clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble in its own." And when I read that, it brought me to a realization that you just can't worry. Obviously, having a wife like Danielle, she challenged me every day to stay focused and make sure that I was always seeking after what God wanted for our family, because I had to make sure that I was on top of my game with God in order for our house to have Him a part of it.
yeah, we've really worked hard at our communication and keeping each other accountable for our walk with God and just for our life together and being individuals. And we really have put a lot of effort into changing the things that needed to be changed in order to just have a happy marriage and be able to go through life and enjoy it and not have to struggle and fight with each other and be dealing with other things on the side. No, we've really tried hard to be better together and to work harder to be the best that we can be, and really just see the things that God has for us in our life, just see those come to pass. We're definitely not perfect. Our relationship isn't perfect, and we haven't accomplished everything that we want to accomplish, but we know that we're a work in progress and we're on a path that has a bright future.
I think the key, obviously, to our relationship with God and each other and with our kids is we've really focused on making each other a priority and making sure that we have time together, and that when we do have time together, we make sure that we are utilizing it and having fun with each other and growing together with God in the center of it, which has been just such a key to our marriage and obviously the relationship with our kids.
In our life, if we surrender to God's will and for what He wants for us, then our life is going to be so much better than what it would have been had we just done what we thought or what we had decided to do.
I feel like we've changed a lot, and we couldn't have did any of that without the help and the strength that God has given us and the way that He has moved in our lives. He's showed us that He is God, and He is the only thing that we need and the only thing we have to rely on, the one we have to trust, and that we really have nothing to worry about as long as He's in the center of our life. And I believe as long as we keep that the middle of our relationship, then I really think we will be unstoppable, because God is someone that has no limits. There's no limits to Him, and if we have Him, then there's no limits to us. And it's really exciting to see what God's going to do with us in the future and what He's going to do with our kids, and I'm really excited about what's to come.